Michigan Snow Forecast Gold Standard here on Facebook. Bell notification, follow the channel and like it to get this information out as a life-threatening scenario is going to take place in northwestern Florida to just north of the Tampa Bay metropolitan area as the infrared satellite shows the convective thunderstorms continues to wrap around, become better organized around Tropical Storm Ida now, and it's going to continue moving off to the north and northeast and be just to the west of the tip of Cuba a little bit later on this afternoon and become a hurricane. As we look at the water vapor imagery, you can see the last 12 hours or so, the storm has started to turn north, started to become more organized and having the thunderstorms and convection wrap around the center of circulation and should become a major hurricane, at least a Category 3. Strong Category 2 or a Category 3 at minimum by the time it makes landfall. Looking at the visible satellite imagery, it even shows a little bit better the organization. The updated National Hurricane Center forecast calls for a major hurricane as the surface pressure is down to 986, I believe it was, and a 65 mile per hour sustained winds moving north at 8 miles per hour, and it's going to accelerate to the north and northeast as a stalled front in the northern Gulf of Mexico picks this storm up and accelerates it, and that's going to be one of the blessings, is it's going to be a faster moving storm. But you can see in and around the Tampa Bay metropolitan area, 4 to 7 foot storm surge. Going north of there, you got a 6 to 11 foot storm surge. The impending tropical storm force winds look to arrive by 8 p.m. Tuesday, tomorrow night, as the storm continues to lift off to the north and northeast and starts to impact the Florida metropolitan area, especially the northwest part of Florida. As you can look here and see the spaghetti map where it's starting to hone in now on landfall, which is still subject to change as it's still about 40 hours away from landfall. And things can change. It can move a little bit farther south. And if I had to guess, I would say it would go more south and adjusting more north. You can see the wind guidance shows a strong Category 2 at the mean and maybe up to a potential Category 3 at the higher end, as the trends the last 24 hours have been for more rapid intensification right before landfall, which is certainly possible and is certainly going to cause a huge problem with a lot of flooding, a lot of wind damage, sporadic tornadoes, and lots of power outages, and it will become a life-threatening situation. Here is the HFS A-Storm Hurricane Panel. Looking at the top left, the 925 wind speeds approaching 100 miles an hour to 140 miles per hour up at the 950 level. To the top right, we got the precipitable water in inches, very moist, soupy atmosphere, lots of moisture. The bottom left is the sea surface temperatures are very warm. And then the bottom right is a composite reflectivity showing as the storm moves into the northeast Gulf of Mexico over the northwestern part of Florida as it makes landfall. It has a classic I formation right there. You can see it tightening up, a classic inflow and a classic outflow with a nice circulation and a nice small, compact, well-defined eye that's going to need to be watched closely. On the northeast side of the system is where the winds come out of the south inland. On the south side and the southeast side is where the winds are coming in inland and will push all the ocean water into the shoreline. If you're on the northwest side of the system, you're going to get an offshore wind and you don't have to worry about coastal flooding. But Tampa Bay, I'm very concerned about. Take note, Tampa Bay, now is the time to prepare. Now is the time to get ready, as I think a lot of flooding and coastal flooding is going to happen on the south and southeast side of this storm. And it starts to roll in. You can see the wind speeds, a 10-meter wind gust, well over 100 miles an hour over the ocean. A well-defined eye, a beautiful-looking system as it moves in to Florida. Very, very early Wednesday morning, between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday morning, looks to be landfall. But if we look at how fast it's moving by 10 a.m., it's already approaching northern Florida. And by early afternoon, it's already getting into southeast Georgia. So that'll be one saving grace as the storm is moving very fast and accelerating as it gets closer to the coast. It won't be slowing down. It'll be accelerating, which will help minimize the flooding from rain and storm surge, as they will not have as long to pound heavy rain over the same area, and it will not have as long to push the ocean or the Gulf of Mexico water up into the coastline of Florida and Tampa Bay or just north of there. Surface pressure map, you can see it starts to get organized at 979 just north of Cuba, continues to 976 to 961 as it propagates to the northeast in this model. And they've been varying anywhere from about a 955 to a 969 mean sea level pressure or surface pressure of the storm. Bell notification, like the channel, stay up to date from the National Hurricane Center and here on a life-threatening situation that's going to unfold.